I just got done with my workout. It was a nice back day. I just bought myself the DJI Pocket 3, which is a really good camera, really got all the good angles, and really highlighted my juicy back pump, which is good because I really need my back to be very developed, very, very, very developed. I have just accepted the fact that a wide waist is what I'm gonna have to deal with, so gotta offset it by amping up the back and the shoulders and all that. But it is what it is. Also, I just kind of came to the conclusion that honestly, rice cakes mixed with peanut butter and jelly is honestly the go-to pre-workout meal for me. Mainly because it is nutrient sufficient, enough carbs to really give me the nice pep in my step, like half an hour before the workout. Also, I did incorporate, at least today, some flavorless protein powder. Just, get some extra protein in. For me, it's always been an active effort to get protein in. It's never been really a passive thing. But as far as sustainability and repeatability and simplicity and, all the adjectives and parts of speech under the sun goes, that pre-workout meal is very sustainable. So it's definitely going to be something I'm keeping. Because rice cakes are nothing to get, and they're like what, $4 to $5 for a dozen, so not that big of a deal. I might with the bulk though, since the reverse diet we're definitely on the later half of it. Probably going to amp it up from 2 rice cakes with some peanut butter and jelly to 4. Just that way there are extra calories. That way I can continue to lift heavy. With this reverse diet where I'm at now, I am just fluctuating between like the 187 to like 191 range. Usually that's just my scale's also like dying and I have not got around to changing the battery, so that could also be affecting it, but it's in the ballpark, which is exactly where I need it to be. With coming off a 6-month deficit, losing 47 pounds, I think once I got below 180 and eventually, once I got below 190 and eventually started, going closer to 180, I think I was losing muscle tissue as well as fat, but that was something I was going to have to accept near the end. I wanted to really get as much fat as possible off in a healthy amount of time, as well as a healthy amount of fat. That way, whenever the bulk comes, I can bulk properly and actually see progress in the mirror. Yes, I do want to see more plates be stacked on the barbell, so on and so forth. And I know that'll happen. I've seen it happen. But at the same time, when that has happened in the past, I didn't really like what I was seeing in the mirror. So now that I feel like I'm at a point in my life where I have a little bit more control of what I eat, more control of my schedule to some extent, I can really hone in on getting the aesthetic physique that I would like with a really optimized lean bulk. The plan is to start the bulk in February 1st, start of the month, and then roughly 16 weeks all the way to June. And ideally, I'd say, I don't know, no expert. I feel like I've mentioned this at least 20 times. I forget, but gain like 3/4 pound to a pound a week. Ideally, so let's just assume I'm at 190 now. Start June 1st. I'd like to be at around possibly 204, 205, somewhere around there in that healthy range. But like 205 lean, like a really lean 205. That way, obviously there will be some fat that I put on, no matter how much you bulk right, lean bulk, whatever. Really get it down to a science, you will gain some fat, I know that, but where I still see the frame that I want. I don't think I'm gonna have in the grand scheme of things, it will be like, the ideal male form, shaped like a letter X. But like from an upper body perspective, I don't think I'm going to have a V taper, at least from the backside. I'm going to have like the Y taper. So that's fine. But, still retain that kind of shape. So it'll be fun. I definitely think so. It'll be nice I'm still going to be really strict with my calories. When I say strict, I just mean like tracking them. Obviously on a bulk, you don't have to be as strict or as dialed in, but I'm still going to treat it that way just because I think a lot of abstract habits are like muscles in a way. The more you train them, the more you develop the habits, the good habits, the stronger the muscle or habit becomes. So just, build those habits even when they don't necessarily matter. Just that way, when it's time to be dialed in, it's pretty much second nature. Which I would love for a lot of the difficult things. Obviously, this is easier said than done and always will be. But I would love for all the difficult things, especially with food nutrition, to be as second nature as possible. So it'll be a journey. I don't know. I think also it's just what's going to kill me is, not kill me, but just what's going to be really difficult is dealing with just from about the navel to the knees is my weakest point on my body from an aesthetic perspective. Obviously the waist, that's not going anywhere anytime soon. We're just going to have to learn to work with it, build up other parts of the body to offset it. But just right by my ass and right where my hamstrings begin, that area has just always been underdeveloped. I'm probably attributing it to the fact that I am tall, so there's just more of that muscle to grow, which obviously it takes longer. And then I think just from a subconscious perspective, I have been avoiding training that muscle as diligently as I would like, just because I stay sore there forever. So I just got to learn to power through that. And then, so, the quads are good. That's always never really been an issue. Yes, they get very sore, but somehow that soreness was just always bearable or more tolerable than that of the hamstrings, but power through it. And then, since we're here, we'll just include the calves as well. Calves are always going to be something for me. I've got stick legs. I've always had stick legs. So just get them things developed and actively develop them. Don't just treat them like, oh, they're getting developed because you're working other muscles mainly and they are the byproduct of what you're mainly working, but actively train them 2, possibly 3 times a week. Maybe just do calf raises when I'm working from home, stand at my standing desk. Just get the nice blood flow. It'll be a work in progress. I think the biggest thing though for being tall, so I just accept that things will take longer and I will see progress slower, but I will see progress. That's just what I tell myself. And that's all you can do. I do like these series as well. Just where you sit in the car and talk. Not long, rambling, 45-minute diatribes, but just short, sweet life updates. Things that I'm learning, things that I want to pass on. And, just let everybody know that I'm human. Just like the next guy. But I'll try to stay consistent with this. If I get... It'll be like I talk about, it'll just be a muscle. The more I train or the more I do these little series, car talks, the better I'll get at them. But it's only the second one. We'll get better.